Hi everyone, and welcome to my latest video. I've just spent the last 2 weeks in Egypt, and I can tell you it was an amazing experience, and I had a great time and I met a whole heap of wonderful people, and I highly recommend that people book in to, at some stage, as soon as you can, get over to Egypt. It's just an amazing experience, and you know, the pyramids and the tombs and basically the history of civilization. There is so much to learn, and it does bring in to perspective a lot of our reality here, and like I said, it's a personal experience, and I highly recommend it. I went with the Kemet School, chemetschool.com. That was one of the best tours I've ever been on. It was very well organised, and the Egyptologists and the tour guides were amazing, and it went really smoothly. The accommodation and everything was just fantastic. It was just an amazing experience. So definitely look into getting to Egypt. It was very, very safe. The food was amazing. The people were very, very kind, and all we did, I think, for pretty much every time we were on the bus, all we were doing was waving and lots of smiling between us and the kids and the people of Egypt, and it was a memory forever. And I can't wait to probably go back as soon as I can. I think the next thing I'm going to be doing with this mob is going to Peru, and I've got that scheduled for some time in 2019. But what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit more about what I do as a coach. I want these videos are to express myself and share some insight on what I'm looking to add value, and what I'm looking to add to people's lives in regards to the coaching element, and just sharing bits of myself and what I do for my clients and members here at Elements for Life, and it all flows over into the Better Life Project and a whole heap of other things I'm doing with my website, Online Coaching Australia. But one of the big things that I find with members is the beginning, is about establishing a foundation. And I think as humans, there's definitely a cycle of stages that we go through, and everyone's got their own journey. You know, some people are in some tight spots, some people are quite well balanced, and I think that we've all had these ebbs and flows in life, and I think the gym is a great outlet to be able to express ourselves and to not necessarily find ourselves, but to do some things that are going to establish a foundation to get us through some tough times, as well as just seeking better health and fitness and all of those other byproducts of the discipline and the effort that we put in here. But the big thing is, apart from getting through the door, which is can be quite hard for a lot of people, especially if they haven't had gym experience, or they're intimidated by some of the training, or there's just that whole process of making the first step. And I think the next step after that, once they've shown the courage to get in here and become part of the community, is about establishing a foundation. And what I do with all my members is sit down with them and talk to them about life, and I talk to them about establishing a foundation, and everything from the nutrition, their mindset, their attitude, their connection to what they're doing in life, and establishing reasons why they want to move forward and work on themselves. So there's a whole heap of little things that I do, and I've spent the whole morning and a bit of yesterday updating a lot of my protocols, because I think as a good coach, or as a coach where you strive to be a good coach, you want to seek to evolve and bring in more information and slightly tweak your delivery to give the added value and a better experience, and try to enable and empower people to find this foundation, especially at the beginning. Because if you establish a foundation, you're more likely to stick to your training, and if you can stick to your training and seek perseverance and consistency, I think you'll be successful. So one of the things I do, and this is just one little sheet, and I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on these type of things, and it's about, this one's called Expectations of Your Coach. Now, the only expectation I have of people is I want them to achieve greatness, I want them to feel comfortable, I want them to be happy, I want them to enjoy themselves. And that's why I take a lot of pride in my gym in regards to the atmosphere and the vibe, and I really am really proud of the people that I've got here. So one of my expectations, like I said, is I just want you to achieve greatness. And what we've got to do is, the first thing we need to do is establish your reasons. So we talk about establishing your why. Why are you doing this? What do you need to do for yourself? And I think it's really about how you're going to feel once you've been able to establish a routine and get these things in place. So first thing is establish your reasons. Number two is set some goals. So I do have a goal sheet, and I'm going to be running through some of these things in other videos. So setting some goals, and these goals can be anything. It doesn't have to be fitness related. It doesn't have to be about how much fat you're losing or how much muscle you want to gain. Some of it can be just getting a level of consistency. Some of these goals might be outside of the gym. You know, a new job might be about establishing, some financial security. It might be an overall picture. So these things are very personal, and I do get people to write them down. Number three is getting people to understand that working and sticking to process is better than an outcome. Outcome goals are, like a New Year's resolution. Everyone's made them, and I think a lot of people can put their hand up and say that we didn't stick to it. And halfway through the year, if I ask you, how'd you go with the New Year's resolution? You find that we didn't get there. We didn't achieve it. It just sort of, went back into the shadows, and we didn't really focus on it. So one of the main things about once you've established a main goal is working out what the process will be to achieve it. Number four will be make goals attainable. I think sometimes we have a big goal, and I think big goals is what makes life, and these goals can be anything. Like I said, if you want to climb Mount Everest, go for it. Obviously there's a lot of things that go into climbing Mount Everest. There's a lot of training and understanding of what's required. So what I think you need to do is come back a little bit and work out what those little mini milestones are, and that's part of the process, as I mentioned. But make the goals attainable in the short term so you can get there in the big term and long term. Number five is take small steps. Like I said, with the milestones, just look at what you need to do to get to where you need to be in regards to a routine, where you need to be in regards to consistency and perseverance. Those things matter more than the outcome, because the outcome's not going to happen unless you can achieve a level of consistency. So take pressure off yourself. Just come in and enjoy the small steps. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad. Those who come in on the bad days more than the good and collectively put those together throughout the year are going to have a greater level of success. Number six is something that I've really worked hard on probably in the last 10 years, is self-improvement. Now, self-improvement, self-development. Now, what that means to me is doing something on a daily basis that's going to take me forward in life, and it can be anything. Some days it can be just doing nothing. Some days you do need to rest and recover, but most often it might be doing a little bit of research on a topic that I wanted to look into. It might be reading a section of a book that I've earmarked and I really wanted to learn about something. It might be coming into the gym and really knuckling down to a program. Maybe it's about getting involved in groups and communities that support you and make you feel good about what you are or who you are and what you want to achieve. So there's so many different little things in regards to self-improvement. I've just spent 2 weeks in Egypt, and to me that was a part of my improvement and part of my self-development, because I was around people that provided so much information and knowledge, and that's really empowered me, and I feel really inspired. So I've got 3 things on my little list here, apart from those top 6. Okay, so we had establish your reasons or your why, set your goals, stick to process, make the goals attainable, take small steps each day and try to be consistent, and seek self-improvement, self-development for the rest of your life. Now 4 things that I've got underneath those 6 is, at the beginning you need to create a schedule and a routine for what you want to achieve. If it's health, there needs to be a daily routine, and it can be things like your water and a daily green smoothie in the morning, making sure you're prepared for the gym, creating a schedule for a gym or for the gym and booking into classes, talking to people and learning more in the gym. There's things that you can do. Create a schedule towards what you want to achieve. In regards to your health, I think you've got to create a schedule for your nutrition, and I talk about seeking improvements rather than perfection. So progression is better than perfection. Eat as nature intended. There's all these different little things that you can do with nutrition. I'm really big on water. A lot of people think I'm a water freak, or they think I'm crazy. But I can tell you it's one of the best things I ever did was getting my water in place, and I'll do another video on that at another time. Number 3, so number 1 was create a schedule for training. Number 2 is create a schedule for nutrition. Number 3 is create a balanced lifestyle. Now, to me, this is a bit of a contradiction. I don't necessarily believe there is a balance in lifestyle. I think there's a bit of an up and down. Now, if you want to be really successful at something, whether it's business, finances, your relationship, health and fitness, I think you've got to be really focused and you've got to be really selfish for a period of time. But what happens is you need to also then come back to reality and pull in some of the other things and take a step back, because you can't just grind yourself into the ground. And I think that's a big issue with the Western Empire, with the 9-to-5 ideology. You know, there's too much focus on our job and paying our bills, and what happens is it becomes a grind. And we hear about depression and you know, midlife crises and all these type of things. I think they are connected to that inability to connect with who we are. We sort of forget that we need to get back to nature and find this balance within our lifestyle. Otherwise we just go nuts. Number 4, I do talk about supplements. I'm not talking about bro science. I'm not talking about how much protein and you know, stimulating fat burning type of supplements. I'm talking about making sure we do what we need to do, not only within our base nutrition, so you've got to get your food, your water and your vegetables and your fruit and all that type of stuff in order before you go and add supplementation to your diet. But I've found that through research and through experiment, a lot of the supplements that I have added a lot of value to my own health. I mean, you just feel it. It's really personal. It's hard to explain unless you're actually trialing them and seeing what they do for you. So it's definitely something to research. I mean, everyone's got things that they can improve, and if there's some holes and gaps in your diet due to your lifestyle, then you're better off seeking some supplementation to top up where you're missing out on your normal diet. So that's what I've got in regards to my expectations. Work out a foundation from the beginning, and I'm going to be talking a little bit more about these things as I go. So what have I got? Establish your why, set your goals, stick to process, make the goals attainable, small steps, be consistent, self-improvement, create a schedule for training, create a schedule for nutrition, create a balanced lifestyle, or at least understand your ebbs and flows, get some supplementation outside of your really good diet, nutrition program and plan. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to stop that video there, and then I'm going to share some other things with you next time. Let me know what you think, and I hope you got some value out of this video. Thanks, guys.